This is a Thunder Update. I'm Joe Masato, joined by columnists Jenny Carlson and Barry Trammell. The NBA is getting closer. The Thunder arrived to Orlando on Wednesday night, a couple weeks away from the scrimmages. A week after that will be the games. But first off, a lot of training camp and questions to sort out. So, Jenny, let's start with you. What is your biggest question with this team now that they've arrived in Orlando?
Yeah, I think as it relates to the team specifically, I mean, obviously we all have questions about will there be a lot of COVID positive tests? How could that affect the schedule? But I think as it relates specifically to the Thunder, my curiosity is how quickly they can recapture that chemistry, that way that they were playing at the end of, it was the end of what we saw as the regular season. You know, that game in Boston, Joe, you were there for that, just playing so well as a team. You know, I think obviously that there's going to be rust, so you're going to have to get that off. But beyond that, this was a team that was just playing so much better as a collective than as individual pieces. And I think how quickly can they come back to that is a really big question I have. And, I don't know. Everybody's going to be facing some amount of rust, so it's not like they're alone, but we'll see. Barry, what stands out to you?
Well, what I want to see in Orlando is if the Thunder, you talk about team chemistry on the court, this suspension in play, this 4.5 months, has gone incredibly drama-free for the Thunder. All the talk about who might play, who might not, all those kinds of things, none of that's affected the Thunder at all. Nobody's made waves outside of Chris Paul leading the Players Association. And to me, that's a good sign. You never know what's going to happen. But when I've looked at the history of sports and interruption of play, I look at the Redskins in the 80s, the year we had so many replacement players in the NFL, and a game or two of those, and then the real players came back. The Redskins were the only team that did not have anybody cross the picket line that year. I think it was 82, I think. But anyway, they won the Super Bowl. And, they were really good, but they weren't necessarily the overwhelming favorite. That's because everybody sort of stuck together and was on the same page. And I think the same thing can really work well for the Thunder. Now, they've got a high hurdle to cross in terms of superior teams in the NBA. But I like just the fact that everybody seems to be on the same page. If that can continue in Orlando, it will really do the Thunder well.
Yeah, that's a good one. My biggest question is to see Chris Paul play again. I mean, he's gotten so much attention for being president of the Players Association these last few months. That's almost felt like his full-time job. It's completely overshadowed how good he was this year for the Thunder. But, I think it's natural to say maybe the break helps him. He's since turned 35 during this time off. Maybe he's going to rest up after, having one of his healthiest seasons he's ever had. But also, you don't know if the rust is going to kind of seep in a little bit with him with this time off. And he's the most important player for the Thunder. He's guided this team throughout the regular season. He guided them through this break as president of the Players Association. And now we get to see him again. So that's the biggest question I have. We'll have answers, hopefully, to some of these questions in the next few weeks. So thank you for watching the latest Thunder Update.